Today's look is disgraced child television host, beat up, manic Robin Williams. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and my ongoing quest to review every single movie Robin Williams had ever made. This week I'm continuing my journey into the Triptych of Evil, one of the movies he is in that I have enjoyed the most. Danny DeVito, not Danny DeVito. Death to Smoochy is a 2002 what is referred to as a black comedy because it's so dark. Directed by Danny Devito, also starring Edward Norton, Danny Devito, Catherine Keener, who you might recognize as the mom from Get Out, Jon Stewart in one of his few acting roles, Harvey Fierstein, Pam Ferris, who played the Trunchbull, and Robert Prosky, the TV producer from Mrs. Doubtfire. Death to Smoochy stars Robin Williams as Rainbow Randolph Smiley, a former children's television host who is disgraced when he is caught taking money bribes by the FBI. He spends the whole movie actively trying to sabotage his replacement Smoochy the Rhino, aka Sheldon Mopes, played by Edward Norton. That's the general plot of the film, is that Smoochy is on the rise and Rainbow Randolph doesn't like that and is actively trying to sabotage him. You also get a little peek into all of the mob and mafia and dark ties behind the scenes of children's television. This movie is a notorious bomb. It did horribly at the box office, it got horrible reviews, but it started to have a resurgence as a cult classic for being like a really interesting satire, which I think is fantastic. Two of my favorite actors, both playing funny roles, such a dark situation, bleak jokes like that. This seems like a movie that was tailor-made for me. So, for a couple of the background and fun facts of Death to Smoochy, Hank Azaria was initially supposed to play the part that Jon Stewart ended up playing, but he had to drop. Jim Carrey was attached to star at one point as well. This is, like I said, one of Jon Stewart's only acting roles. Robin Williams called it a wonderful, nasty movie. And I watched a little bit of the behind-the-scenes documentary, and it looks like everybody had a good time. There was a lot of footage of just Robin making jokes on the set, which, like, of course. So there's a lot to say about this wonderful, nasty movie, and I have somebody, a special guest coming on, former Nashville comedy friend who is just excited about this wonderful, nasty movie as I am, Jason Edwards.
Super excited to have someone who's excited about Death to Smoochy as me.
I love it. I can't get enough of this film. Just before this, pulled up a Roger Ebert review.
Oh, the half star?
Did he even give it a half star?
I think he did.
Only enormously talented people could have made Death to Smoochy. Those with lesser gifts would have lacked the nerve to make a film so bad, so miscalculated, so lacking of any connection with any possible audience. To make a film this awful, you have to have enormous ambition and confidence and dream big dreams.
Oh, I think one of his critiques of the movie was that he didn't believe that you could fill a whole warehouse with neo-Nazis, and now in the year that we're in right now, it's like you could absolutely fill a whole warehouse.
Madison Square Garden, what's the biggest arena we have?
I know.
The Olympics, fill it.
In general, it does feel like it was very ahead of its time, because I feel like if something like this came out today, like it would get eaten up.
Probably. Yeah, I think people were looking for something with a purpose. Like, where's the deeper meaning in this film? And now we're like, we don't want any meaning. We want a reverent nothing. Oh, he's like Barney.
Yes. I mean, I love the satire in this. I love the take on the children's television industry being like dark and seedy when like
It's net.
It probably is. Like the joke at the very beginning where they're going through all the stars that they have that are like, well, that guy got deported and this guy's in jail. Like, that's really funny to me.
The mafia's in deep with kids shows. They always have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the charities too.
And the charities, of course. Yeah. The Irish mafia and the charities.
Yeah.
Stay away.
The reviews that I've seen of this just say that it's like unfunny, which I just don't think is true. Like,
so funny.
It's so funny.
And I hate to say it, but Ed Norton like puts on a clinic over Robin Williams as Smoochy the Rhino.
That's what so I think Edward Norton's performance in this is fantastic. Like, it's so good. And Robin's performance, I don't know how I feel about it.
I love it. It's like, you don't expect to see this after like Hook or many of his lovable films. But like, I think it works. I think the shots are intentionally as unattractive as possible. His face gets injured like 10 times.
So many Dutch angles.
So many Dutch angles. Yeah. Oh!
For this performance, I like that it's it mixes like his voices and his jokes and his bits into something that's a little bit darker, but I also just like at the same time I wish the character had more nuance. Like I wanted to see more of him being an asshole at the beginning so that like his downfall was a little bit more.
Yeah, like
It's
within
like-
the first 90 seconds, we have him and we've lost him already.
Yeah. Which like the scene of him in the restaurant when he gets caught is so brilliant. Like I just wanted more of him being a
Right.
shit.
You
And
want
then
your
also,
little booger eater on stage.
I know, it's
Don't matter.
perfect. His turnaround too at the end when he suddenly becomes good again is also done so quickly. Fits with the manic energy of the character, but a lot of times I just found like I wish that his character just had a little bit more nuance. Like so much more of the attention is given to Smoochy.
Right. Like halfway through, you're like, oh, he used to date Catherine Keener. I didn't know that.
I know. Well, I did kind of like the reveal that she had just dated like every male lead.
Yeah.
Out of all the characters, I think she is probably my least favorite.
Well, she's horrible.
They're all horrible.
Intentionally me. Yeah, but Rainbow Randolph, he was like, all right, well, he's got all this suppressed sexual issues that he's not taking care of, and he's got a lot of mental health problems that probably need to get worked out. So you're like, oh, he's going to break through and it's going to be okay. But Catherine Keener, she's just, oof, blood, ice cold.
The rise of Smoochy, I just wish that got like more time than it gets.
Sure.
But it took us right to the cookie scene, which
Looky. Here comes a cookie. Oh,
that
so
scene is so funny.
Yeah, that's the best angle of the kids. Cookie, I want you. That's so magical.
He reuses one of his when he says rumple foreskin when they're like dragging him out of there. That's also he used in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Jiggle Daddy, one-eyed wonder weasel. It's a penis.
I mean, it's very funny. I just like at this point in my series, I'm like, he's used some of these jokes.
Yeah, and then I watched it with Christina, my wife, and she was just like, I think that was all just improv. I bet he just has like different names for penises that he's just ready to unload.
Some of the stunt work I didn't think was very good, but I also don't know if that's intentional.
So at the end when they're doing the ice skating, it's so campy with like the backflips and they're on the line just flying through the air. And that definitely is intentional. And I think sometimes you just gotta lean in and be like, yeah, we meant to do it that way. It wasn't the budget.
Makes no sense, but it fills my heart with so much like rampant joy. I love it.
They play the song from Ghostbusters. It's so euphoric, but it makes no sense.
No, but I mean, at that point, it's okay. Like the whole movie hasn't made any sense.
Yeah, well, it's just like, hey, they're happy and together. This is great.
Yeah. Right. The stunt when they shoved him down the stairs when they were kicking him out and he hit the wall, that one looks it looks so bad.
That's in the first like 10-15 minutes. You're introduced to Rainbow Randolph. He finally gets injured and he spits his tooth out, and for the rest of the movie he's missing a tooth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised you didn't knock one out for true commitment to your amazing outfit.
I didn't even think about that, honestly. Do you think that the character of Spinner is insensitive?
All right, so my AIM handle was I'm Spinner for 2 numbers as well. So someone had already taken I'm Spinner, and I had to at least be the second person. But I've been fighting with this because it's self-inflicted brain trauma. So it's not like, hey, I was born with a disability.
Yeah.
I took too many shots to the head. And it's like, oh, he did that to himself. And I guess it's okay.
I thought that as well, because like they never used the R word to describe him either. And for this film coming out in 2002 and them never saying that, that's a big plus. The thing of him being Moochy and then whacking the wrong rhino is just
I'm Moochy.
That's such a good joke.
Moochy is burgundy. Smoochy is fuchsia.
I read a take yesterday. This person wrote an article that was like, they were advocating this film as a queer nihilist opera for the last days of capitalism. And they used that part specifically, and they were like, making the distinction between maroon or burgundy and fuchsia is like a queer thing to do.
I saw it in the theaters, but it was in my wheelhouse. I was like, when it came out. And
did you like it from the moment you saw it, or did it like have to grow on you?
I liked it before I saw it. Robin Williams, Ed Norton in a dark comedy by Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Suck it, Matilda. Yes.
I did notice a lot of like the way that the set was done and the cinematography and the music, a lot of it felt very like Matilda
Yeah,
to me as
exactly.
well.
Yeah,
So
like
it's
Dutch angles, a lot of lowing. Like I hate to say it, but Danny DeVito might have the handheld, and that's
yeah,
just
I love it. I think that it's great.
yeah, yeah. So I think this came out like right after 9/11.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then he's in like Times Square about to light himself on fire, being melodramatic, and like, we've got bigger issues, Robin.
Yeah. And Danny DeVito like actually chose to not remove the Twin Towers from the shot that you can see them in.
Oh, really?
Yep. He was like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. The phone call too, and he expects it to be someone else, and he like the I'm going on safari motherfucker phone call. I love that scene.
One scene I really dislike is when he kicks the TV over, and you've got the backlighting of
Right.
the TV,
Yeah.
and his feet look so gross and dirty, but they're not. They're just really dark and out of focus. And I don't know why, but they stay on that image for like 15 seconds.
I don't know that I like that scene either, because he doesn't like have any reason to do that other than complete insanity. Like he just smashes this guy's TV.
Yeah. He takes the lamp and it's not like I'm destroying the apartment. It's like, this TV, this is where the rhino was. And he's just like stabbing it 60 times.
Anything that I do dislike about it could be fixed with just more nuance and more like shaping to Randolph in general. Like I just wanted to see more of his journey as well.
There's no storyline really. There's no
like Smoochy's journey is done very well. Like you see Sheldon have his moments where he starts to get angrier and like starts to kind of fall into the traps and the angry mindset of the world, and then the Irish mob boss who played the Trunchbull has to be like, no, it's not worth it.
Randolph, like, he's king of the castle and he's gone, and now you just see him angry and grieving the entire film.
Yeah. When Jon Stewart hosted the 78th annual Academy Awards, he was like talking about how it was one of his few acting jobs, and he was like, welcome to the Oscars hosted by me, the fourth male lead in Death to Smoochy.
That's funny. I used to go see The Daily Show in New York, and I saw him I think 3 times, and one of which, like, he always has a little bit of stand up to get the crowd into it beforehand, and he referenced that he was in Death to Smoochy as a punchline to one of his jokes, as calling himself a hack, which is an accomplishment. Like, to be
I know, right?
D-rated masterpiece.
It's garnering more of a cult following now, but I haven't seen that much evidence of like a huge following other than like people that I know. I own the DVD, so I just
had it on display long after it would skip and not play at all.
Oh wow. I can't see myself showing this to someone and having them be like, that was garbage, like start to finish.
Right.
I love the choice of all the mambo type music in this. It just like it ups the just ridiculousness
like Spanish
of
guitar
everything.
all of a sudden. The dressy montage with the googly eyes. Ridiculous. It is dark for the sake of being dark. Some of my all-time favorite lines, Buggy Ding Dong. Sorry if I smell like piss, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
Oh, you can say that about anything. I love Angelo. Angelo's a fantastic character. And his chemistry with Robin Williams, I think, is the best. With Robin Williams with Angelo, I think, is the best chemistry that Rainbow Randolph has in the film.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, I want to call Peter Dinklage and like, what would you think about this? Because I don't feel qualified to form an opinion, but I feel like it's real bad. I don't know. They call them the Twinkle Kids and then the Rhinettes.
For a film that sets out to be offensive, for it to not use any offensive terminology means that it's probably a little bit more okay than.
My stepdad's not mean, he's just adjusting.
I love that song.
Oh, it's so good. But if your stepdad ever hurts you or your mommy, what are the magic numbers?
911. Probably my favorite line in the movie is when they finish the song where they have Spinner on the bell and he's just ruining the whole thing. And Smoochy's like, wasn't that fun in an awkward, weird sort of way?
Get to know Spinner Dunn very well, but not
we do. I know, that's, the most awkward scene in the movie for me was Catherine Keener eyeballing shirtless Edward Norton. Like, there's something to look at.
Why did there need to be a love story?
It breaks my heart that he's rude, because he is one of my, favorite actors.
I know.
I guess as long as I never meet him, it's fine. I'll just pretend. If this is something that sounds like it's up your alley, I would absolutely recommend checking it out. It's a lot of fun, especially if you have a dark-sided sense of humor like that.
Watch Edward Norton in a role that he never should have took on, There's swastickers if you're a racist. If you never liked Barney, it's probably for you. If you've watched all the episodes of Taxi and you just need some more Danny DeVito, get on it. It's worth your time, and it probably goes to a good place.
Maybe that's why I like this movie so much, is because I grew up in the culture of the anti-Barney humor.
Yeah, exactly.
All the playground songs were like, chop up Barney's body and flush it down the
Yeah.
body. And then like, I see this as an adult and I'm like, wow, I really, you know what other song I love is the Friends Come in All Sizes song.
Oh, friends come in all sizes. That's a fact. It's true. All the colors of rainbow from gold to blue. One might say grab while the other says snatch. It's true. It's true. Friends come in all sizes. Take it from me. I said, I said confidently, I know the song. Thank you for letting me try.
Chef's kiss. Absolutely. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, so good. I got to revisit one of my favorite things, which I would not have done otherwise. So thank you.
I definitely wanted somebody who was excited about this movie to talk about it.
You obviously heard the piece of that Roger Ebert half-star review that Jason read to us, but Death to Smoochy was an enormous box office bomb. It grossed $8 million against a $50 million budget. The Washington Post called it Robin's penance for every earnest and sappy movie he had done in the last few years. The handful of positive reviews called it a sharp satire, refreshingly outrageous, all things that I agree with. Robin was also nominated for a Razzie for his performance as Rainbow Randolph, but he lost to Hayden Christensen in Attack of the Clones, which I think is actually quite fitting, because that's a terrible performance. You have sand. I would recommend Death to Smoochy to anybody who likes a dark comedy, who likes Edward Norton in particular, because this is such a weird turn of roles for him. I don't think this is necessarily a good Robin performance or even that good of a character, but it's a fun enough time for the Robin Williams fans as well, if that would be the only reason you would be watching it. Regardless, I think that this movie is a all-out, it's just a blast. It's so ridiculous. Most of the criticisms of it, I just flat don't agree with. Unfortunately, Death to Smoochy is behind a paywall right now, so if you want to watch it, you do have to rent it from the usual places, Amazon, YouTube, Vudu, all of those. Next week, I will be concluding my look at the Triptych of Evil with the thriller Insomnia, directed by a pre-Dark Knight era Christopher Nolan. So very excited to see that. I've heard wonderful things about his performance in this and how interesting it is. Kind of sad to be concluding Triptych of Evil, but the Robin content that I grew up watching is just on the horizon as well. So stick with us, smash that subscribe, smash that like. I wish I had a Petus cookie right now so I could go, it's a rocket ship for my grand exit. But yeah, I'll see you next time.